pretty short video. It's not meant to be a sequence that you do all together. Rather, it's to give you some options on things you can do to keep your spine flexible, keep it strong, so you can keep right on moving. So let's get started. So let's get started with the breath. So find a comfortable seat, keep all that padding underneath you. Maybe bring your hands to your thighs, close your eyes down. Take a really deep inhale through the nose, filling up. And then a really deep exhale through the mouth, just let it all go. Inhale through the nose. Deep exhale through the mouth, let it go. Filling back up. And then releasing. Now feel free to keep doing this, the open mouth exhales. You want to try something new or switch. We're just going to switch to Ujjayi. So inhaling through the nose. Sealing the lips and deep exhale, slow through the nose. Filling back up. And then releasing through the nose. Inhaling. And then releasing. Now take about 5 breaths at your own. Choose whichever manner you want. Try to find your own rhythm. And just enjoy the breath. Let the body settle. Nice. And then we'll move on. So staying in a nice, comfortable seat, keeping that padding underneath. I'm just going to drop the arms off. They become kind of our roots here, so we can actually push down through the fingers. Pause here, come back to the breath. And then you're ready to take a deep inhale, pull through the crown of the head, get as tall as possible. Push down through the palms. And then exhale softly. And then pick one palm, one hand, let that be your root. The other hand comes up, take an inhale, really reach, maybe wiggle the fingers. And exhale, slowly bend to the other side. So as soon as one cheek comes off, you just want to come back. It's a gentle, gentle stretch to the side as we start to move the spine. And we'll stay for about 3 breaths. And just put your gaze wherever's comfortable for you. It might be down, it might be up, it might be just to close your eyes. And we'll just stay for a tiny bit more here. And then we're going to come back up and make it nice and slow because we're starting out. Opposite hand plants, feel free to wiggle it out. And plant the other hand comes up. Inhale, get tall. And exhale, slowly drift. Nice, gentle movement. It's beginning to warm up the spine. Wake up the side body. And hope that nobody comes along and tries to tickle us right this second, right? Staying for just a tiny bit more. Inhale, come back up. Gently drift back down. And just know you can do that as many times as you want. Just a nice, gentle movement. Try to keep it from the hips up so the butt stays firmly grounded into the mat. And then we'll move on. So, from here we're going to move on to 2 variations of cat-cow. First option, so just take your feet out in front of you. And take your hands underneath your knees. You can take them behind your thighs. You can pet your dog. And I'll do this from the side to get a better view. For cow pose, we're going to drop the belly onto the thighs. We're going to inhale as the chest comes up, the gaze comes up. And then for cat, we're going to dome through the shoulders. So maybe the elbows come out. And that's our exhale. We're going to inhale back to cow. And exhale to cat. This is a nice, gentle movement that you could probably do at any point during the day. Sometimes this is a really good one to do right when you first wake up. Feel free to shake it out, and then we'll move on. The other option for cat-cow is to come to all fours and make the annulations along the spine that way. So we're just going to flip over. We're going to come to all fours and we're going to work to stack the shoulders over the wrists, hips over the knees. You can do shoelace side down or start to stretch the Achilles by turning it over. Do what works for you. And then try to even the pressure out through the fingers. So pushing down through the palm, grip through the tips of the fingers. And for cow pose, we're going to drop the belly once again. We're going to lift the heart, lift the gaze. That's the inhale. And then exhale, cat pose. We're going to dome through the shoulders. Gaze comes down, the knees, the toes, and the head hangs heavy. And we're just going to go back and forth. That's the inhale for cow. Exhale for cat. And then just go back and forth as many times works for you. Maybe concentrate on the one that feels the best for you. Maybe staying there for a couple of breaths. And then switching back, trying to match breath to movement. And if you don't, you can't match breath to movement, just try it. Try to keep the breath nice and slow, whatever you do choose. And whenever you're done, just stop. Come back to a comfortable seat. So the next option is Cobra, and we're going to come down to our belly to do that one. So just flip over. Soft part of the belly comes down to the mat. Legs come behind you, shoelace side down into the mat, and you bring your feet together and push down as if you have a unicorn horn. So maybe you're able to push down so much that the knees come up, and that's wonderful. And hands come right about underneath the shoulders. So now the elbows come up and the third eye forehead comes down to the mat. So pushing down through the unicorn horn, little to no pressure in the palms. We're going to inhale, come up. So we lift the heart, but the gaze stays downward. You can see where it's a small movement. It's not like a big extraneous thing. It's just a small movement. And then we lock in the breath. So we're just going to work to stay here from 3 to 5 breaths. Little to no pressure in the palms, unicorn horn into the mat. No tension on the neck. Then when you're done, inhale, and then exhale, slowly drift down. So one cheek comes to the mat, arms go long, and then the heels flop open so that any tension along the back and down through the legs is released. And then just stay here for a couple of breaths. Just relax. Take this moment for yourself. And when you're ready, just come right back into Cobra. Hands come underneath you. Shoelace down, unicorn horns engaged. Third eye down. Inhale, come back up. So really we're using the lower back. Try not to get distracted and tilt the head up. We don't want any tension on the neck. So gaze stays down where you can just inspect your mat. Breath gets locked in so it's light. Want a little bit more, you can take your hands up and kind of fly. Keep the breath easy. And maybe this time you stay a little bit longer, maybe not. And when you're ready, we're going to come up, and then opposite cheek comes down to the mat. Arms go long, heels flop open so the lower back and the legs relax. And just take this moment for yourself. Maybe you get some good cuddles out of it, who knows. And then we're just going to gently come out of it. And we'll come into Sphinx pose. So for Sphinx pose, we come back to the shoelace side. Forearms come into the mat. So literally from the elbows all the way down to the fingertips. Here, scoot up, baby. So it looks like this. You don't want the arms out. You don't want them in. You want them parallel right along your side body. And then unicorn horns pushing down and inhale, come up. The gaze lifts this time. And we're pushing down into the forearms, push down into the palms. If this is a little bit too hard on the elbows, try to push down through the palms a little bit. Maybe place a little thin thing underneath the elbows. And we're going to stay here for about 3 to 5 breaths. Really trying to lock in that breath. When you're ready, you can lower down. You can come to one cheek or the other. You can use your hands as a pillow. Allow the heels to flop open. Maybe windshield wiper the legs back and forth. Make circles. Do anything that relieves the tension for you. And then just try to melt into the mat for a few seconds here. Reattaching the breath. And then we're going to slowly come back to a seat. Come back to stillness. So the last focus on the spine asana we're going to do is bridge. So we're going to come back down to the mat, but this time lower back's going to be on the mat. And you can start with your feet out in front of you. And then we just want to gently walk the feet toward the bum. You get to a nice comfortable position. We're going to lift the lower back up, the root chakra, and replace it back down into the mat. So that's solidly locked. Shoulders are locked. Gaze is straight up rather than behind us or in front. And then we're going to continue to walk the feet a little bit closer to the bum. Maybe you can take the hands and reach. Maybe not. It's up to you. And coming back to being rooted in the back, we're going to inhale. And then the exhale, we're going to drive the hips up. Gaze is going to stay straight up, so there's no tension on the neck. And if you feel the knees start to come apart, push down through the big toe and the heel. And you can stay here for a couple of breaths. Another option is to do robot arms, so the triceps go into the mat, hands come up, continue to push. You can also extend the arms long, or do nothing. Even take the bind if you want underneath there. A little bit more advanced move, not necessary. We're working on the spine. And then when you're ready, try lifting the hands over your head, coming up on the toes, and then as you lower down, try to go as slow as possible. And really feel that release. Maybe you come open to Supta Baddha Konasana, so inner feet touch. Or maybe you just go long and you just take a few seconds for yourself here. Biscuit says hi. She's a big yoga fan. And then just rest. Always the option to do another one or not to. Work to stay for a couple of breaths. Try to keep it equal and even. If you feel like breath change drastically, come out of it and just try it on a different day or later. And just know bridge is a more advanced posture, so it's not something you want to do cold. You want to be warmed up. And then just lower it back down nice and slow. Feel that release. Maybe come to broken bridge. So knees together, feet come wide. Maybe one hand on the belly, one hand on the heart. Just feel the body working for you. When you're ready, we're just going to grab behind the knees. Maybe we rock and roll up and down the length of the spine. We're going to come right back around to the seated position. Focus on the breath. So a good idea when you're doing a lot of work on the spine is to reverse out the motion by doing a forward fold. So we'll do two options. One of them is going to be a seated forward fold. And you have a choice of straight legs, or you can take a wider V. So sometimes this will allow us to go a little bit deeper because we don't get the compression of the belly on the thighs first. So you choose what feels the best in your body. You can point your toes, you can flex them, and have a bend in the knee or straighten the leg. So by straightening the leg, you get a deeper stretch. By bending the knee, you release a little bit of the back. So maybe that's what you want to do. But you choose, play around, see what feels good in your body. Keeping that padding underneath there. We're going to inhale, come back up. So it's kind of similar to the cat-cows where we're coming up. Like there's a heartstring right here. And then we're going to exhale, we're going to fold, but we're hinging from the hips rather than dropping the head. So it's a nice controlled movement as we head forward. You can take your hands, you can walk them out. And then just try to relax into it. So maybe that's turning the feet toward your heart or pointing. Breath is nice and easy. And you can see where we're folding in the different direction of the spine work that we were just doing. Just trying to add a little relief, make the back stronger, more flexible. Or you can try to stay here for about 5 breaths. Make it nice and easy. And just know if the breath changes drastically, maybe come out of it a little bit. Nice. And then when you're ready, and only when you're ready, just gently walk the upper body back so you have a straight spine, not dumping through the shoulders. And then feel free to wiggle it out. And just pause here, and I'll offer one other alternative for forward fold. So the other option for forward fold is to do one standing. So we're going to be really rooted into the ground. And just go old school, inhale, mountain pose. And then exhale, forward fold. So softening the knees, hinging from the hips, hands come down. Then maybe the hands reach, maybe they don't. Maybe you use a bolster. Whatever you choose, the head hangs heavy. We're using that as traction. Knees can be soft or straight. You decide what works for you. And we're really just resetting the spine. So feel free to stay here for as many breaths as you want. And just really enjoy it. And when you're ready, we're going to gently and slowly come up. So just gently coming up, really rooting down through the feet. We don't want to see any stars. We're our own star. Nice. Thank you so much for coming to Yoga with Radha. I hope this little breakdown of some variations on what you can do to work your spine helped. And I appreciate your presence. And if you like this, feel free to hit subscribe down at the bottom. Pass the information along. Best advertisement is always word of mouth. So I hope you have a really wonderful day. And Gigi and Biscuit say adieu. Thank you for coming to Yoga with Radha.